Welcome to Biztech's Technology Show, the show where we feature tech companies operating across Asia, talking about their solutions and how they make a difference to their customers' businesses. Now, today we speak to M. Satya Riyad Shah Safaruddin, the CEO of ACASIA. Now, ACASIA is an ICT solution provider offering a comprehensive suite of connectivity services and digital infrastructure to take your business all across ASEAN and globally. Now, Satya, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I'm really excited to see what we have on the show. Thank you.
Satya, before we start and get into the nuts and bolts, tell us about ACASIA and its history.
All right. It's a very interesting company. It has been around for 26 years today. It started back in 1995, and it's actually a brainchild of Tan Sri Zamzam Zareni, who is currently the Maybank chairman to Maybank. This idea was mooted as sort of like a protection. Back in 1995, when AFTA was introduced, which is ASEAN Free Trade Agreement, yep. Tan Sri Zam was saying to the other of the telcos within ASEAN region, guys, let's pack up together and let's protect this region from the incoming of AT&T and BT and whatnot. So what happened is that they agreed and they created this company called ACASIA, and hence the name ACASIA. ACASIA is actually a tree where little creatures actually take shelters from it. So the spirit of ACASIA, it's really about the spirit of ASEAN. Every shareholders within ACASIA's group actually own the same amount of shareholding equity. Nobody is above the other. So far, as of today, we have 7 shareholders coming up from 7 countries. What's missing is Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia. But the rest of the other countries, we actually have them on board. So eventually, when all the telcos, all the ASEAN region is part of ACASIA, everybody will hold a 10% equity share within ACASIA itself.
I see. So that's the goal. So you have the likes of Telecom Malaysia, Singtel, National Telecom of Thailand, Indosat Ooredoo of Indonesia, PLDT of Philippines, Nexus in Brunei, and VNPT in Vietnam.
Yeah, correct.
So how have the synergies been in the last couple of years? So obviously you've done a lot of projects over this past 26 years or so.
Right. So just to bring back to the history, ACASIA was actually positioned as a middle party to the shareholders. So ACASIA back in 1995 is connecting infrastructure from our shareholders. We don't own infrastructure. We don't have any infrastructure. So we're just providing services to connect two infrastructure together. We call it half circuits. So if there's a requirement that requires connectivity from Malaysia to Philippines, we would connect the infrastructure from Telecom Malaysia and also PLDT. So we are that middle party.
Okay.
What happened in early 2000 when people started to bring up their own POPs, which is points of presence? Singtel have POPs everywhere in ASEAN. Telecom Malaysia have POPs everywhere in ASEAN. The business model no longer works because at the end of the day, the shareholders will be saying, why do I need ACASIA when I can actually monetize my infrastructure, my POPs that have deployed within the region or globally, right? So what happened was back in 2007, business was pretty tough for ACASIA. So it was like that since until it came into 2014, 2015, when the CEO then was Azmal Yahya, whom I reported to back then. We decided to do things differently. We decided to approach the market differently. We decided to actually create our own infrastructure within ASEAN with presence in 7 different shareholders country. And we started to sell our own infrastructure to the market. And Alhamdulillah, good news is that things started to grow since 2015, and that is part and parcel of our transformational journey for ACASIA. So in terms of the spirit between the shareholders, it is intact. It is very intact, and I like to quote a saying from one of the chairmen, Mr. Eric Alberto. He said, ACASIA should not be seen as just P&L measures, but it should also seen as an embodiment of the ASEAN spirit within the telcos.
Okay, so give us a perspective then on the size of your business from a top and bottom line perspective.
Okay, in terms of top line, we are pretty small. Today we are hitting 20 million ringgit in a year, about there and about. So with a factor of 5%, maybe 4% on the bottom line.
Okay.
So that's pretty pretty much what it is today. Yeah, but we see ourselves growing from there on.
Okay, and what are your key products and service offerings beyond the offerings to your shareholders?
Okay, what we do, we compartmentalize our products and services into two. Number one will be, which is the core business of ours, is connectivity. Now, connectivity, we have an infrastructure called MPLS, which is multi-protocol layer switch. What it is, it creates this product called IPVPN, so virtual private network. Banks, FSIs are using this network to actually ensure cross-border transmission, cross-border connectivity secured and are within the domain of themselves. So it's a private connectivity, private network. So that would be our core services. But we also provide managed services. So towards the edge, which is the internet broadband, we provide managed services to companies who have multiple sites within a country or within the region. So for instance, like retailers who have many shops in shopping malls, whether it's in Malaysia, it's Singapore, or in Indonesia, they require internet access. So for them to actually apply internet access in that particular country, it will take them quite a process. Yeah, quite a process. What we do, we will simplify that, meaning to say they just engage one ACASIA and we will manage the rest. We will manage it from pre-sales all the way to after sales.
Okay, so give us an example of how you've helped some of your customers.
Okay, so we have a customer previously called, okay, I like sneakers, right?
Okay.
Foot Locker. They have 6 outlets here in Malaysia, right? For them to actually apply connectivity like our broadband services to the stores, it would require them to go to different TM branch or any broadband provider. So what they did was they connect to us. Hey, ACASIA, we would like to get our shops connected to the internet. So we do everything. So we started to apply for them, whether it's going to be TM network or any other network, because we're agnostic. And we manage that network for them. We install it, and then we monitor the livelihood of that internet connectivity. So to them, it's a single party. It's a single billing party. What is most interesting is that we can also do multi-currency, meaning to say if they want to pay in US dollar instead of ringgit Malaysia or Indonesian rupiah, they can do that with us. We'll take care of the exchange rate, and we'll take care of late payment and whatnot. We'll take care of, we'll just have to make sure that that connectivity remains vigilant or remains intact.
Okay, one of your new focus areas is basically software-defined wide area networks. Can you explain how this differs from your traditional router-centric model,
right?
And how this then enhances or gets into the cloud experience?
Right. This is the new thing, Brian. This is really something that everyone is looking at as DWAN. What happened was, if I were to go back into history, a little history, in the 1960s when internet was created, it was just a private network for the US government. In the 1980s, we have this technology called ATM frame relay.
Yeah.
It was for the banks, for the banks. And in the 2000, MPLS starts to come in, right? MPLS starts to come in. It's router centric. You got to install routers and whatnot. Now we have that today. So in terms of MPLS, yeah, to deploy one circuit, it requires people to wait 6 to 8 weeks to get MPLS up and running. But today, people are looking into more versatile solution where everything today is on a cloud. So all they need at the end of the day, all people need is just an access into the cloud. If you watch Matrix, it is really like that. At the end of the day, you just need to plug in and get into the matrix, because everything else, whether it's firewall, whether it's anti-malware, whether it's all this platform, everything is on the cloud. We talk about metaverse, everything is going to be on the cloud. Even our laptop is going to be on the cloud. So at the end of the day, you just need that access into the cloud or the metaverse or whatever you call it. So SD-WAN is actually addressing that, because it is so fast to get linked up. It's just a matter of hours. Some will be a matter of days. It doesn't require people to wait for 6 to 8 weeks to do that, and it's so much more scalable. So whether you have 2 sites or whether you have 200 sites, it's scalable. So SD-WAN is the way to go. Now, SD-WAN technology have been around since 2013, but the take-up rate was a little slow because people are not seeing it. What COVID gives us is digitalization. COVID actually pushes humankind into thinking that digitalization or digital technology is the way to go. And now enterprises are seeing it. Everything must go on digital, whether it's your accounting software, whether it's your HR software, whether it's your ERP. Everything is on the cloud today. All you need is just internet access, and SD-WAN would help you secure it. And that is really the way that we are going.
Okay, then that brings up different questions. The question of then data sovereignty, a topic that we don't normally talk about, but is really very important. Now, give us a regional perspective of data sovereignty and the role ACASIA plays in ensuring that data sovereignty is respected.
Right. So this data sovereignty, when we talk about cloud and we talk about data sovereignty, it's two different things altogether. Because when it comes to cloud, it's anywhere, everywhere. You just don't know where your data resides, right?
Right.
But there are certain things that we do, especially governments, certain data like identification data, healthcare data, even geospatial data of a country. Those are sovereign data. Sovereign data requires that data to be housed, to be residenced in a particular country. Now look at ACASIA's setup. It is actually a combination of 7 shareholders coming from 7 different countries, and everybody have equal shareholdings into ACASIA, which makes us a very, very, very neutral party. And all of our shareholders, if not most, are government-linked companies like Telekom Malaysia, Singtel, Indosat, PLDT. Those are government-linked companies. So we are in the best position to be addressing data sovereignty in that way, meaning to say our infrastructure is ready to address data sovereignty. We probably don't need to go on a public cloud. We could probably work on a private cloud. For instance, with there was an initiative called DHP, Digital Health Passport, where when the border starts to open, people want to see whether you are vaccinated or not and whatnot, right?
Right.
So if I were to go to Singapore, me as Malaysian, I would like my data to be in Malaysia instead of residing in Singapore or elsewhere.
Okay.
So that's just me. But so that's where the data sovereignty comes into the picture. Perhaps this infrastructure that ACASIA have could be an infrastructure that assists platforms such as those DHP to be used to address data sovereignty issues.
Okay. Now, ACASIA has been around for a long time. What's in the pipeline for 2022?
Pipeline for 2022. I see a lot of digitalization, especially in SMEs. Even a chain of coffee shops want to go digital because everything is gonna be so digital that your attendance record for the workers, for the barista, the employment, the what do you call the attendance report, the HR, the financial accounting platform, everything is going to be on the cloud. So SMEs such as this food chain, F&B chains are going to be looking into connectivity. So I'm looking into that notion and want to provide them with connectivity, whether it's going to be in Malaysia or regional or even global. Yeah. So one of those things that have changed for ACASIA recently is that I told you about how we have an infrastructure within ASEAN.
Yes.
We have 7 POPs within the region. What happened is that this year we started to leverage on the infrastructure from our shareholders, be it Singtel, be it TM, be it PLDT, that makes us global in a way, because I am also leveraging on that global connectivity from our shareholders to reach Europe, to reach Americas, to reach North Asia.
So that's a very different business altogether. That extends your reach tremendously in terms of ability to serve customers.
Yes, it does. And I'm really keen, I'm really interested, because I know for a fact that there are some European companies who looks at Asia and want to expand within ASEAN region.
And you could be the one-stop shop.
One-stop shop, definitely. That's where we position ourselves. When it comes to ASEAN, let us be that single gateway for you to come in, or even for ASEAN who wants to go global, let us be that single gateway for you to go out, because our network is extensive.
Now, Satya, it sounds like we're in for very exciting times in 2022. But before we leave, what are final thoughts you would like to leave us with?
Final thoughts. Can I be personal?
No problem. Go ahead.
Final thoughts. Okay. There was a session that I attended quite recently, where I have to share things that I take it as life-changing moments in my life. Yeah. And I did share that. And what I said is this: life-changing moments in my life happens every single year, every single month, every single week, every single day, even every single second. Those are life-changing moments that just happen around you. For me, life-changing would be looking at it and actually take action upon it. Meaning to say, you see that opportunity and you take action upon it to change the course of your life. Whether it's going to be better or going to be worse, well, that will be, time will tell. But then again, for ACASIA itself, every day is a life-changing moment for ACASIA. We look at business, we look at our opportunities out there. There's just so much opportunities that we can cover. But we require our partners to see that too, our potential customers to see that too, our people to see that too. So at the end of the day, final thoughts: COVID have changed our life tremendously. The way we act, the way we respond, the way we interact with each other have changed it completely. I mean, COVID have changed it completely. So, but there is always opportunities at the end of it. There's always opportunities that's lurking. So we'll just have to be aggressive, to see that, to contain it, and then to just pursue it and make it a reality.
Satya, thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been fascinating.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
I'm Brian Fernandez, and we've been speaking to M. Satya Riyad Shah Saifuddin, CEO of ACASIA, on Biztech's Technology Show. This video and podcast will be on our social media platforms as well as our website, www.biztech.asia. Please like and subscribe to our various platforms. Thank you very much for tuning in.